Okay, Libra full moon. For the week, you have a short with overall energy. Already uploaded yesterday for the next 7 days. So Saturday to Saturday. Okay. Apparently I need to get in tune with you. Yeah, something's not working. It doesn't make sense to you. Yes. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't translate. You're not perceiving or allowing yourself to go for something, or something is, you keep pushing it back. You're trying to grasp it, but you don't see even the purpose of it anymore, energetical wise. Okay. Something is hanging in the air. It's not neither here nor there. And it's absolutely destroying you to be living in this and trying to learn to live without closure, without absolute clarity and knowledge, control. Control. You're fighting against it. Yeah, your tendency to try and control things. Yeah, you're really struggling no longer trying to know everything and get to the bottom of things, or to be more in the moment, and it's so hard for you. But you're doing it. It takes courage, because it's within your nature to know, but you have recognized where it stems from, where your pursuit for knowledge stems from, how it's charged, the intention behind it, and how it turns, it works against you. So you're trying to not betray your nature or yourself, or you're still going to be ever inquisitive and inquiring and questioning, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But you're more aware of where this energy is going or is directed towards, or so you're trying to, let's just say, learn to compartmentalize, reveal your needs, your priorities. You're getting to know yourself better, various aspects, healing some, carrying out conversations with other versions of you, and so on. So it's deep, profound processing here that's going on. That's what you're struggling with all the things that you're trying to release without knowing, without clarity, without closure. Let them go, let them simply be. Acknowledge that they're no longer relevant, or there, or possible, or so, yeah, releasing all that was ultimately working against you, hurting you, and preventing you from continuing your journey. Politics and ambition. As I said, you can focus or shift this energy towards something else. Up until now, you may have mindlessly just gone around and you have done it as a victim of your very nature. Completely disempowered, at the mercy of everyone. You may be actually very skilled and capable, You may even have oratory skills. You have an innate sense of justice. Highly intelligent. You can also be extremely detached there where necessary. So you would do amazing to get involved at least to some capacity in some regards in politics. Yes, to put this very nature to use there where you feel called to. And in your personal life, it simply means to get yourself informed on matters that are relevant to you or of actual importance or significance that you feel tie in with your purpose and your very way of manner of being of. So staying true to yourself, but being rather more present and self-aware, objective, wise. So sometimes we use things that we have in the wrong manner. And then we determine at one point that it's simply us. It's something with us that doesn't work. No, no. Sometimes it's the lack of tools or opportunities, but you've never given up your pursuit for knowledge or truth, clarity, understanding, wisdom, or spiritual advancement. Even there where it made absolutely no sense. You were roaming around like in a great library, and whatever book was thrown at you, okay, give it to me, because after all, this is who I am. I'm going to read it, of course, right? But now there's discernment. You're seeking for the purpose, right? And you now see everything as a means to an end, including yourself. 26. It's time to apply all of these beautiful skills. What do you live for? What are you fighting for? Principles, ideas, something you love dearly, a dream, a hope, and your vision for humanity. And what can you do based on your skills and experience and qualities to do your part in making it possible so that vision, comes true, comes to us, and you manifest a new reality. And you're taking your own role and part in doing so. Yep, that's how empowerment looks like. Remembrance, remembering why you came here. Purpose, beautiful. Yeah, something's flipped. Okay, let's look at it. And it's also the courage to see something for what it is. The spiritual strength. And the choice to walk in truth no matter what. Harvest and marriage. Now you see why you needed to go for certain things all on your own. Work in reverse. Because you were definitely not fulfilling your purpose. You kept straying, you kept being distracted, you kept forces played on your very nature, whether that was kindness, whether that was your search for justice or wisdom, or whatever it was, and beauty and harmony and love, and it kept leading you astray on the wrong paths towards the wrong people with the wrong expectations and promises, and lots of deception, lots of confusion around you, hence also within you at one point. Is it me? Is it the world? Is it? No, it was just the overall dynamics, and it's how it works. It's how it works. You will always have challenges. Take it as a preparation, stages of preparation for this very battle right now. Work in reverse and victory, and why you failed in achieving anything in a worldly sense, power, wealth, marriage, and so on and so forth. Because you needed to win in other regards. In your struggle to remember who you are. Okay, yeah. Split personality, depersonalization, missing or losing a center, and that's actually a superpower. You can be whatever you feel called to, choose to, at any given time. Your motivations will differ, obviously, but yeah, not many people can do that unless they plan on losing their minds. Powerful. So I'm just giving you overall energy that ties in with your corrections, shadow work, energetical, mental, spiritual, emotional progress. The practical details are irrelevant at this point. Immaturity, irresponsibility, and again this energy of being unable to either comprehend, accept, tolerate. Something weighs heavy, seems to be revealed as in constantly comes around as being important, even though you recognize it as not for your highest good. It's distracting you. Even when what is distracting you from appears to be irrelevant or redundant, or do you know that saying, sometimes you're better off just watching the grass grow, just staring at a tree. Yeah, it's all the joy for the journey, the willingness, and it made you feel as if there's nothing positive in all of this process. Look, you see, you're being punished. You see, God doesn't love you. Nobody loves you. You see. Ay, 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 ay. As a divine child, yeah. You don't feel the magnitude of what it means to be here now. You've lost that connection. You're trying to, you see it now, you know. So, some honest introspection has occurred here, and some revelation, some in regards to your energy. You see the purpose of why you needed to go through all of this, but you also feel the call that it is time for you to shift that energy now, to live more in the moment and actually love what you do and do what you love. And that doesn't mean it's always pleasant or easy, but then again, that's why you were prepared. These games are no longer perceived as irrelevant or a waste of time. This is someone who feels guilty for being happy. Yeah, emotionally moving away from a vibration, a state of mind, and a spiritual state that you were stuck in. You're breaking a loop, a cycle here. And yeah, it's very scary because it shatters that false sensation of security. Yes, we can find security in pain, in lack, in victimhood, and yes, we all have. grand rising, rebirth energy, baptism, repentance, return, restoration, purification, insight and intuition, the courage to go for something, purposefully so, ever present, for every single emotion, thought, to accept one's faith and destiny, but most importantly, to move forward, to make the necessary changes, to accept them, to see the purpose of them, even though you don't see the whole dynamics or unfolding or the details. They are irrelevant. You just know you gotta move forward. And now you also see the purpose on why no one should tell you what's in front of you. That's the truth. No one should, not per se. We are very limited in what we can convey, what we can interfere. Because each of us has a sacred connection with the Creator, and interfering with that process, whereas He may lead you on a path where you're supposed to, He's giving you an opportunity for the energy to shift in some regards. If we intervene and you know beforehand, you will take ways around it. It happens every single time it happens. People will take ways around them, or will relabel or redefine those things as something that they determine that it should be. They try to exert control or avoid it, or somehow corrupt what's about to happen to them, and so on and so forth. It doesn't help them. It does quite the opposite. And we take the karma for that, because it's... But yeah, sometimes that's exactly what they need to see. You see, you've known beforehand, and you still went on and did that. So at least the revelation of them having been the ones to ultimately make that choice, whether they know or they don't. But if one makes a choice, regardless of their path, as a manner, just by simply exerting their own free will, one also needs to see where it stems from, what the intention behind it is. Are you challenging the Creator? Or are you simply trying to co-create, understand the Creator's intention when He emanated you into existence, and trying to become that and align yourself with that, regardless of external factors or your current form? Or so there are two different, even for the rebellious, the intention makes all the difference. Two different approaches to you not accepting your destiny. If so, are you taking it upon yourself? And in doing so, is it in trying to prove a point? Is it in outright denial, which also implies some revelation or clarity or understanding or knowing about what the Creator actually wants from you, but saying, nah, I'm going this way? If it stems from defiance, even that is allowed, ultimately. But what's the purpose? What are you hoping to obtain, gain? And are you betraying yourself in doing so? Do you really want to do what you are currently choosing to do? All those questions you need to learn to constantly, address yourself to yourself. Ah, yes. Yes, you're decoding reality. You're learning to read energy. You're learning the power of your intention. You're learning that you yourself, as we were saying also in the live, are a means to an end, a specific vessel for which certain forces naturally so will work, while others attempt to do so. The sacred Graal energy. Everybody wants it. Only the worthy. So, in other words, you are terrified of the truth, but you already know it. You've always known it. You are terrified of the implications. Can you handle the truth? Now that you see through all the bullshit and understand how manifestation actually works. And that's the purpose for anything and anyone to exist to begin with. But it's never been about our physical reality. And now you know that. From the water came the snake. The connection in between earth and water, manifestation, spiritual ascent, illumination. The rise from the depths and an attempt to manifest. Nothing's impossible anymore for you. And it's terrifying. You feel the burden now. Now you feel the responsibility of you being you. Yep. You feel it. It's heavy. Sovereignty, purpose, sacrifice. No book can teach you any of this. You simply have to go through the trials. And apparently you have. Earth is the voice of the previous versions of us. It's a testimony to our collective journey. Earth is death. From whence life is born again. But it needs the proper nourishment. Now you gotta come down to business. The transgressions should never be made in your heart. Not the other way around. You may act right, you may speak right, you may look perfect. But now you know you were doing things the other way around. Four, five, seven. One step ahead of everyone else. That comes as a burden. It's terrifying. So, which means that now that it's down to business, and you know now that you checked back in with yourself, you've integrated your shadow. Now it's about manifestation. It's down to business. That's why you're here. Every action, every word, every gesture, every stay ever present. No regrets, no attempt to control it. No, all of those stem from fear, they're all lower frequency. No, you utter things into existence. Intention is important. And all the attempts of the shadow are stopped immediately. In other words, it has no tricks on its sleeves anymore because you're there, you're present now. You see it long before it tries to lie, to deceive, to promise you, to control you, to terrify you, to tell you who you are and who you are not, and who you should be, and what you should desire, and what you need, and what you deserve, and what you don't, and what. All of that is absolutely irrelevant. Has no power over you. You appear as fierce, powerful, strong, courageous, unstoppable. But also bright and luminous. And those who are not ready may be burned by you. My tears would drown the world as my inner fire would reduce it to ashes. My tears would drown the world as my inner fire would reduce it to ashes. Back to basics. See things for their intrinsic value, the energy behind them, the purpose. Use them accordingly, and there's nothing that you cannot manifest because your heart is in the right place. Again, you're back to center. You're acting from your higher self. It knows the way. It speaks in your heart through the Holy Spirit. You've stopped putting your destiny in anybody else's hands. Now you are your Father's daughter. As you can see, I do not choose. The masculines here have it pretty bad off, sadly. They're stuck. I'm sorry to see that, but yeah. Apparently the masculine needs the intervention of a feminine at this degree. It's a very intense feminine. Her virtues are higher values and morality, compassion, passion, fearlessness and courage, ruthlessness where need be, authority, knowledge and wisdom, warmth, transformation, integrity. Those who fear you do not fear you. They fear themselves, the version of them that they're called to go towards. They've chosen or they cannot do it, or they've chosen not to. The mirror you embody now, everyone will respond differently to it, to you, to your energy. And you're gonna keep doing it unapologetically so, now more than ever. Hey, you wanted to know, now you can. Now you see. Up until now you may have doubted your ability to do so, or misused it, or you did not know. But now you see where someone is, what someone thinks, you feel them. You've got no time to waste. I hear the message for you. Not because you're pressured by it, but you're done with no longer having a measure of it or seeing the purpose of it. So, unapologetically, you're gonna do whatever you feel called to do at any given time with no explanation or unnecessary wasting of an attempt to either change, convince anything or anyone, not even yourself at this time. You're going to be quick to catch yourself whenever you are hesitant or get stuck or are dragged or deceived in a direction or led into playing foolish games and you're not doing it. You turn the other way even if your heart breaks to 1,000 pieces. That's what personal strength looks like. And genuine freedom. It's painful. It's not for the faint of heart, especially when you need to act on it. The tree of life. There it is. Pillars, elements, foundations. You've made the connection. Wow. Everything's aligned, energy-wise. Wow. I told you, you came back from the waters. You've reconnected. Now you see that everything here is flipped and reversed. It's a distorted, corrupted, and inverted form of what it was meant to be. Rather than bringing a heaven on earth, we brought hell. We channeled hell. Then again, that was the whole point, for us to go into the hells, right? And redeem it. Order out of chaos, light out of darkness. And you've channeled it. Many will perceive you as extremely dangerous and destructive. They will perceive you as such. It doesn't mean you are. Obviously, you're going to be dangerous to anything that is untrue, deceptive. But most importantly, anything that hurts or damages the innocent, anything that is of love, of light, or beauty, purity of spirit. And so, your covenant and your duty and is towards innocence, beauty, and purity. That automatically means that anything that may threaten it will turn you into their very natural enemy. It is what it is. You've got a cane and a sword, and you're not afraid to use it. Come what may come, you tapped into a remembrance of who you actually are. Almost as if all of your timelines have aligned. That's why we say to certain people, may your name be inscribed in the book of life for good. As in for having completed your purpose. Vigilance in reverse. That's also an energy of fear. You're going to walk like you own the place. Not because you're clueless, but because whatever comes, you're no longer going to attempt to control it. You're walking from raw faith. An inner knowing. Whether it's the experience, whether it's whatever you've conquered through the pain and the trials and the challenges and integration. All the times you had to die and be reborn. Vigilance in reverse, yeah. You're not policing anyone or anything, nor are you going to allow anyone else to do so. In the sense of you are probably going to challenge anyone who presents themselves as some form of authority of any kind. You're going to question their intentions, their actions, and whether their actions do match their promises and so-called qualities. So in other words, you're taking absolutely no nonsense. You're paying no mind or attention to anything that may instill fear within you or condition you, or as you are moving forward. You now see that there's nothing wrong with who you are. That's also what's going to grant you the capacity to grant others the same right. And remind them that we all got to pay for what we are. Take whatever comes with it. While honoring the courage of being authentic. Disdaining anything else that seeks for shortcuts, the corrupt, the deceitful, the egoistic, but also those who choose to remain blind and ignorant and pretend to be completely incapable or oblivious, or simply because it seems to be more comfortable. You're going to remind them that ignorance it never is. Willful ignorance by choice. So, the High Priestess is a keeper of secrets. She comes to impart raw truth that transforms, incinerates, burns. There, where someone did not alchemize the lower passions, did not conquer virtue. Not because they weren't granted the possibility, but because they refused to do so. They choose to be ignorant. They choose to be blind. They choose to be evil. They choose to do harm. They choose to hurt themselves in the process as well. So when she speaks, she spits poison. It's what it is to them. And you're owning that. People don't have to like you. We're done sacrificing the truth. We owe it to our ancestors, to ourselves, and to those who will inherit the earth. So we gotta call each other out, or at least no longer enable certain behaviors that are presented as benign and positive, and in reality they're not. They're doing no one any favors. Reserving what is perceived as the most positive aspect for those who actually deserve it. So in other words, you're going to be fair. It was really hard for you to acknowledge and embrace these aspects of you, whereas what has the potential to heal also has the potential to hurt. And now you become aware of the fact that ultimately it has to do with intention. And since you have none, because you are simply being yourself, aligned with your core principles, values, and purpose, then you've got nothing to feel guilty nor apologize for. Same way you have nothing to be rewarded for any kind gesture. No expectations, just raw being, the I. Strength, energy, Aries, Leo, Sag. Authority, personal will and empowerment, clarity, healing, life, passion, and so on and so forth. Okay, a King of Wands in reverse. The downside of this is that, well, it's going to filter out anyone when it comes to possible partners coming towards you. In other words, only the worthy. Not many will be able to make it through. They won't make it past your energy. They won't even put a foot through the door. And that's absolutely perfect. No compromises. Your person must match you in spiritual degree, values and principles, desires, and so on. Not because they share the same nature, because you're supposed to be complementary, but because you are one, like left and right. Different, yet equal. So this feminine, I guess it's done kissing frogs. Don't be upset because someone couldn't handle you. They couldn't handle you then, much less now, when you embody virtue. And most humanity is far from having conquered much of that. It kept exchanging virtue for the promise of comfort or less suffering. You shall not surely die, Mom. Here they are, walking dead. So, this is a feminine that knows herself, both in her potential to do harm and her capacity to love. If she loves too intensely, she can overwhelm, she can burn, she can... So she's she's mastered herself. She's beyond good and evil. Or evil. Powerful feminine here. What are you going to do with all this power? She's like the queen who descended amidst people in a whole different level of existence, seeking to know, to understand, to be one of them, to be accepted and loved. In doing so, refusing to accept her own nature. You can have an impact. You are born to be highly influential in the actual meaning of the word. Your intention is aligned with the actual principles of justice, truth, and love. You're channeling archetypal energy straight from source. But it's all dependent on you, on whether you choose to, are ready, or allow it to come through. Depends on the level of shadow work that you've done. And apparently you've completed the most important part, and that is accepting yourself as you are. I gotta leave you here. Wow. Seek out information that will help you. Divine wine. February. When you speak, look. Understand. Use it responsibly. Let's read this for you. I apologize, sorry. Haya, number 26, adding up to 1/8. Time, oh wow. You're centered. You speak for both past and future. Wow. Please stay away from me, whomever you are. I cannot handle you either. Say, yeah, I'm vulnerable. Stay away from me. I'm irrelevant. I'm of no relevance. Dominions. The name means God who took evil. The psalm is Psalm 71, verse 12. Oh God, but yeah, I'm going to say 28, because I was reading 8, you see? Your energies. And I was reading that in the live. That's why it opened back to that. So maybe you want to watch the live. There may be messages there for you as well. Yeah, it's dominions. I was thinking just that, but isn't it dominions? Oh, you see, wow. God listening in concealment. Psalm is 119, verse 145. I cried with my whole heart, hear me, O Lord. I will keep thy statutes. I will serve you. Hinenian, I'm ready. You return to source, you return to Father. You were ready. In that cry. That's what your energy said. I'm ready now. I want to do thy will. Thy will. What thou willst. No, don't worry. I'm not going to start speaking Bible verses. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I'm struggling to stay set on English language. Haya serves to win judgments and render judges favorable. Judgment, politics, wow. He protects all those who seek the truth, brings people to the contemplation of divine things, and rules over politicians, diplomats, ambassadors, peace treaties, and contracts. You didn't come here to heal. This is not your purpose. As in, yeah, obviously, everything we are here for correction of the world, the restoration. All of us did, I guess, but we are that blessing that is meant to restore. But that implies us being exactly what we were created to be, much like anything else in nature. And keep shifting through the various stages and states, and because everything is everything. Haya also influences couriers, communications. Yeah, you held your tongue for way too long. Agents and secret expeditions, but then again, timing. Soul guardian of those born between 8:20 and 8:40 a.m. Moral guardian of those born on April 14. Oh, April 14, there you have it. June 25th, oh, Geminic energy here. The 13th tribe, the 144,000, Christ consciousness, mercurial energy, wow. Janus, god of doorways, portals, time. September 5th, November 16 or January 27. Mercury. Where's your sulfur though? If you're mercurial. Yeah, sacred scroll energy, alchemy. Integration. You've also integrated your inner masculine. Whether you realize it or not. That's why you have such a strong connection. But you were constantly led to deceived into feeling that you need the physical presence, and therefore you just picked even the postman. It's fine, it's you are the one. You just projected onto them expectations or a vision of who your masculine was, not because your expectations weren't real, but you projected them onto someone who wasn't your person. Rather than recognizing your masculine, you've attempted to quote unquote manifest them, right? So yeah, let's just say you got played there. Well, you played yourself now, speaking of accountability. And so he rules over Bune, a duke who appears in the form of a dragon with 3 heads and one like a dog. Your fierce quality is also loyalty, integrity. And you do have a passion now that is ready to come out. Don't worry. You will control it. You can control it. So it's about being fearless in you being you, even if that you means doing things that you have had judgment towards, or you felt uncomfortable with, or simply not ready or unable to control it. You had thoughts and feelings and that you've never explored, nor have you acted upon them, and it's most likely that usually that's why the trial of fire of the lower passions translate in you falling so hard for someone and translating sexual energy, which in reality is creative force. Anyway, blah blah blah, I know. Again, as I said, you will be a mirror. Shalom.